This is Wellness Buds, and I am your host, Stella Wingfield.
And I'm Laura.
This episode is inspired by the following quote. Always be a first-rate version of yourself instead of a second-rate version of somebody else. Judy Garland. Can we just take a second to clap to that attitude? Judy Garland hit the nail on the motherfucking head. How many times have you scrolled through social media and thought, wow, I wish I looked like this person, or wish I was living like this person. They have the perfect abs, perfect smile, seemingly always on vacation, living this perfect life, or whatever it is that you see that you're envious of. Have you ever done that with people you see in real life too? Do you subsequently feel good or bad about your own life when you're comparing yourself to them?
It's a rough life. I feel like that issue's been present since we were kids even. Because you used to hear about it of all the billboards and magazines, and then tiny screens in our pockets showed up, and it's like seeing 18,000 billboards on a 5-mile drive.
Yeah, and in a matter of 5 seconds, like you can just scroll through your whatever feed, and it's beautiful body after beautiful vacation after beautiful everything.
And with all the editing that you can do yourself or that does happen professionally, it's insane.
Yeah, and then you kind of have this expectation of this is what reality should look like when that isn't necessarily reality. I've definitely just been that person who used to be on social media scrolling and taking screenshots, and I used to be like, this is my inspiration, when really it quickly just turned into being obsessive over why don't I look like this, and I need my body to look like this. I need to have that like deep V in my groin area, need it. And yeah, just kind of came very obsessive and not as much inspiration anymore as just so fixated on this is what I should look like.
Which is it just stinks, because there are good things for social media, like there are good reasons. Living across the country for my entire family, I really like it to show that, like, I'm alive, fam.
Yeah.
Doing cool things, don't worry. And not having to personally reach out and call every single person in my family, like aunts, uncles, cousins. You know, you can kind of mass release it and get to share it with them. And also seeing what my friends across the country are doing and staying somewhat relevant in what they've been up to. That part is so nice.
Yeah.
And then you just have 18,000 influencers in the mix of it that kind of mess with you.
Yeah, they do kind of mess with you. But I agree. It is really cool to be like, oh, I am part of this person's life, sort of. Or, you know, I'm up to date on what they're doing, or up to date on their most recent look. Because I, like a lot of people, like to change up their look. So it's cool to see, oh yeah, this is what they look like right now, or whatever. This is what they're up to.
I got a serious amount of comments on my hair on the last photo I posted, because I had so recently had it done, and it's like lighter than it's ever been. So many people are like, did you dye your hair? And I'm like, I mean, yeah. I've been dyeing it blonde for like over a year, but yeah. So many, because yeah, the look changes and everyone's like, whoa.
Like, must comment, you look fabulous. Love it. Yeah. I think though, what I really, you know, I like Instagram and Facebook and whatever for those reasons of staying up to date with people. But yeah, seeing all the influencers is a whole nother thing. But I think one of my favorite things is seeing the Instagram versus reality posts. You know, I think
yes,
that perspective just resonates with everyone, because we all know life isn't as perfect as captured by a photo. You know, I think people want other people to think, oh yeah, this is my everyday life, but having those posts said, it's like, oh, this is what it took to get that shot. I recently saw this one of this girl somewhere in Europe and had a big flowy dress on, and then it showed the behind the scenes of 2 people like flapping her dress to make it look like it's going in the wind like that. And it's like, okay, yes, we know that the wind didn't just capture this dress at the exact right moment and then you got this incredible photo. It's like, no, there's a lot of work that goes behind all of these glorious shots.
It's a reminder that so much of it is manufactured.
Yeah, and I think that's really just something that should be kind of in the forefront of the mind when you're going through social media, because it isn't always in the forefront of your mind. You don't really think about it until you see those posts that are showing the behind the scenes or reality, whatever. But I think it's just kind of human nature to compare yourself to others.
I love seeing how I line up to others.
Yeah.
We're all addicted to watching how much our lives line up to others.
Yeah. It's like, are we doing better than these people we went to high school with? But yeah.
So guilty.
Yeah, I think it's just instinctive and so easy to do that. But when you take a step back to think about it, it's like, you're not them. You're never going to be them. And it's totally unfair to compare yourself to someone else like that. Especially the other end of it being like, oh, I'm not lining up to this person that I see that I went to high school with. Like, they're doing so much better than me. And it's like, you know, what other person posts is most likely their highlights and only scratches their surface. This can definitely apply to people you know and are close to in real life too. Even if you're really close to someone, they're not necessarily sharing everything, their biggest problems and concerns. And when it comes to yourself, you know all your best and worst traits. So it's kind of like you're comparing yourself to this other human that you just don't even know all their flaws like you know all of your own flaws. And it's just not really fair when you don't have all the facts of who you're comparing yourself against. So what is the point of wasting your precious time and energy thinking about how you wish something in your life looked different based upon someone else's life or their post even? Our time is so limited on this planet, so I am personally done wasting my time wishing that somehow my body frame could just change entirely or that my life looked different than it does. Laura knows, but I am so over social media. Other than to promote my podcast in hopes of helping other people, I find it wasteful to spend my time looking at what others are doing when it really just doesn't help my life at all and doesn't really help my mental health either. And looking at other people's posts doesn't progress me to obtain my goals, so why do it? It's kind of just a time suck, in my opinion. But it really isn't to knock on anyone who wants to be on social media. I'm not judging anyone. Do whatever you want to do. Just for me and my well-being, it's not it. And spending too much time there is just not that beneficial for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone has a very different relationship while having the same relationship with social media. I think even, like, I use social media a decent amount, to be honest, and I don't feel really much negative effect from it. I definitely unfollow some things that might give me that negative effect and just exit that from my stream.
Trigger warning, bye.
But yeah, exactly. But in general, I think, yeah, we all have different ones. I like to use it, but also social media is changing all the time. And I feel like I can only use like half the functions on Instagram. How the F do you make a reel? I have questions.
I also have questions.
And I feel like a grandma saying out loud, I can't make a reel.
Yeah, I see all those highlights all the time and think, okay, since, starting this podcast, I probably need to get a little better with using social media, for sure.
It's rough.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people can probably relate to that and don't want to talk about it out loud. So we're bringing that discussion to the forefront. It's okay if you're a little inept, as I know I definitely am. But I think too, even though it is changing a lot, I think a lot of people are concerned with looking perfect for social media, that it just kind of takes away from some of the joys of living in the moment. So that's kind of why I've stepped back from it. I don't know. I feel like for a little while I was posting a lot, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm posting so much and doing these things and taking so many videos and pictures that it just kind of takes away from me living in it and enjoying what I'm seeing, rather than, just, oh, I have to look perfect for this and, gotta look a certain way and then post it to, I don't know, kind of brag about my life, which my life is really great. So there's a lot to brag about, but also it's just, it was taking so much time and then the joy away from it. So Now I mainly...
Bragging is a very tedious thing.
Yeah. Well, it's a fine line between bragging and you're just like, no, look at me though, you know? Like, and I don't know. I feel so... I like being a modest person and not being that way, so... Whatever, I just limit my time and mainly only look at funny posts or uplifting posts, or if it's a cute animal, you know I'm following their page. And also the people that matter to me in real life, like you said, I like seeing what people are up to, but just without spending too much time on it. You know, I don't even spend probably 10 minutes a day on social media looking. And I think it's just made a big difference distancing myself from social media, and just has helped my mental health and living in the now, enjoying my life instead of trying to live vicariously through strangers or people I once knew, comparing myself to others, or posting for a ton of people that I'm not even that close to, spending all that time getting that perfect shot for what, really? And I know my posts would, of course, reach people that I'm close to in real life, but lately I've been doing this thing where I know it is time-consuming to send to people in my life, but I just, you know, send stuff to my parents or my grandma or whoever, like, hey, I'm doing this thing, I'm alive, what up? Look at this pretty background.
I need to be so much better about that. It is so easy to send a text. I think I just get annoyed being like, oh, copy and paste it. But like the amount of time I would spend just sending that text is probably the same amount of time I would use posting it. And also, I'm just going to have to hope my family sees it when I put it on social media. Like, hopefully they interact with my profile enough that I'm relevant to them. But it's like I have to wait on this equation to tell them.
Yeah, but I feel like your mom probably specifically would go to your profile to be sure if it didn't come up.
Oh, yeah. But like my mom, if I did text it to someone, it'd probably be my mom. That's the thing. I'm like, it's way more my extended family that I don't always call. I don't know. I like posting it. I think it's great. But they also see 85,000 other posts at the same time that they see mine. And I'm just one more click. So in my head, though, it really resonates with them.
Yeah. I feel like people love the personalized message, but also it is more time consuming. But I will say I've definitely messaged Sheila too whenever we've had cute pictures that I'm like, I think you'd appreciate seeing this. And they,
yes.
Like, everyone I ever do that to, they do appreciate it so much. So, like, whatever.
It makes them feel way more special than putting it just on a profile that they happen to follow.
Yeah. And people like my grandma, who definitely is not on Instagram, but she loves getting texts and she loves emojis. So I try to, you know, make her day a little bit by making sure that whenever I do something cool or have a pretty picture that I know that she'll appreciate, I'm like, yep, I'll just blow up grandma real quick. She'll love it. And she does.
Yes. Whoa.
Oh my gosh. Did your headphone just break?
I got nope, just totally rolled off my head. I got way too hyped for grandma and just like slung them. I really have no explanation.
Oh my gosh.
I would not be putting that on social media because I don't want people knowing I'm a fool.
Really? Because I was just thinking I wish we were recording this so I could post it.
I mean, you can post that little sound snippet.
Yeah.
When you get too hyped for grandma. Ay.
Yeah. So anyhow, since grandma got us very distracted, we'll get back on topic, and I'll just say, as light-skinned Keisha says, my only competition ever is that bitch in the mirror. So I spend time trying to be someone else when part of the beauty of this world is everyone's individuality. We are all unique, and I think that should be celebrated. Compete with yourself. Focus on yourself instead of focusing on others who don't matter. And I'm not saying people who post don't matter, but you know what I'm saying, I think. Are you doing the best that you have ever personally done? We just talked about Laura hitting one of her personal best records for rowing. Congrats. And, you know, that's what should matter, your personal best. Are you drinking more water now than you ever have? Are you talking to yourself in the kindest way you ever have? Are you making more time for sleep because that adds to your well-being? Because that is also what matters. Who cares if half the other people in your age range are married, have kids, own a house, while you're still figuring your shit out? Like, who really fucking cares? Good for those people who are doing whatever makes them happy. Good for you if you're married and happy, have kids, have a house, but good for everyone else too, living their own life and creating their own timeline. There's no correct timeline that anyone should be married by or should own a house by. Those things are actually totally optional for anyone who doesn't realize. Marriage is not for everyone, neither are kids, and some people prefer to not have the responsibility of home ownership, and that is also fine. So why put that extra pressure on yourself to try to accomplish these goals that have been fed to you your whole life when you can do your own thing, and that's just as worthwhile? I used to think that way so much, but then I thought, like, okay, so how many of those people who have all of those other experiences, maybe have a house, have kids, or whatever, have also had the pleasure of spending 7 consecutive weeks in Europe gallivanting around? How many of those people that I've compared myself to have gone to as many live shows as me or climbed as many mountains as me? How many of those people never left their county, state, or country in which they were born? It's not to shame anyone for choosing whatever path they have chosen. I'm simply trying to point out that everyone has different priorities and different attainments in life, and no one's preferences are necessarily right or wrong. It's just what you choose to do with your time. My priorities were traveling, hiking, and doing whatever I wanted to. My attainments are also worthwhile. I'm a badass bitch in my own right, as is Laura, as is whoever may be listening. You're a badass too. If you notice yourself comparing yourself to others, and you notice that it's bringing you down mentally, just try to recognize it for what it is and try to stop yourself from doing it. Remember all the positive things about yourself when you feel that comparison monster creeping its head around. Take that exercise we did in episode 3 and bring that to the forefront of your mind. Acknowledge your accomplishments in life, and like we talked about in episode 4, acknowledge all the things that you have to be grateful for in this life. Try to remember the Insta versus reality post, because nobody is perfect, period. No one's life is perfect, period. Everyone has their own struggles that you don't see, even people that you know in real life and that you're close to. Desire to do more because that's what you want to do, not because you see someone else doing it. And yeah, you can pull inspiration from others. Sometimes what others are doing is terrific and truly inspirational. It's incredible to notice what others are doing, and you can be inspired without it having a negative connotation about yourself. At the end of the day, do what you want and give it your all. Compete with yourself to be the best possible version of yourself, and it will make your successes that much more enjoyable. I know I've personally felt the feelings of not being enough for people around me and trying to make others happy when really I should be focusing on doing what makes me happy. When I used to base my actions consistently on what others wanted or what I thought others wanted, well, that was definitely not the formula to live my healthiest and happiest life. I used to be such an anxious person, and sometimes I still am, but trying to please everyone around me only exacerbated those anxious feelings and was very stressful.
I can definitely relate as someone who had so much anxiety as a teenager, and I'm such a people pleaser. I think people pleasing, that's just in my nature. I can't fully eradicate that from who I am, but I did learn how to be like, I don't need to please something that's bringing me anxiety. Like, I bring myself enough anxiety, don't need to let someone else bring that to me.
Yeah, I feel as though I am also a people pleaser. Even though I love to do my own thing to make myself happy, I also just like to be considerate of other people as well. And I think there's kind of, a fine line between you want to consider other people and then going so far out of your way to please other people, where before I think I went so far out of my way to do what other people wanted me to, or like I said, what I thought other people wanted me to, and it's like it's just not the way to live.
Well, definitely, and I think it is easy to lose sight of your own happiness when you prioritize someone else's happiness to a fault. I mean, it's the same way of like when you buy the perfect gift and you give it to someone and you get to see them so excited for the perfect gift, and it like brings you your own sense of happiness, and that's like such a great energy feed
Yes.
for both of you. Like, I think that's a lot of people pleasing. Like, you're seeking that I made you really happy, which made me really happy kind of reciprocation. But if you don't focus on if what you're doing is going to also make you happy, it's very quick to get lost in that chaos.
What an eloquent way to put that, Laura. Love you. Since we're talking about things that make us happy for our own sake, what have you done for yourself to make you happy? Do you do anything on a regular basis for working on your own happiness?
Definitely. I think, one, my interaction with the people I feel closest to. I am social butterfly McGee, and I definitely require a lot of social time. My lovely best friend Hannah, who lives here, loves to tell me how needy I am with her time because I require lots of time. That's my love language, quality time. And Hannah has to fulfill that sometimes because she lives in the same town as me. But I'm a planner, and I like to plan even just hanging out. Like, we have a ladies' bachelor night, and that brings me so much
your social
joy.
well-being.
And it's the silliest thing we watch, and it's so funny, and it just is really feeding. I mean, we watched one quotations because I missed that whole episode. I had to go watch it on Hulu after the night because we talked right through the whole thing. But yeah, finding that time with friends to kind of fill why you work so much or why you do all the other things. I like my job. I really do. I've mentioned in the past, I think I have great bosses, and I really don't want to sound complaining about the time I spend working, but I spend a lot of time working. So I want it to be with purpose for outside
work-life balance, baby.
Yes. So yeah, my time with people, and then I like cooking some more now. That's a growth I'm presently working on.
We're gonna work on it together.
Yes. But it gives me much more happiness once I do it, because I'm like, look at this dank meal I made.
I did that.
Because I couldn't do this a month ago.
I put the time and effort into that, and it's fucking bomb.
Yes.
I think it's so funny hearing the things that make you happy versus mentally preparing.
We are polar.
Mentally preparing for things that I do to make me happy. It's all very just my introverted self coming to the surface, and everyone can see all the things that I do. For me, it really just involves me on me action in the least sexual way. Yeah, it might be sounding really lame, but I've just been taking a lot of time for self-care every time I shower instead of rushing, because I think I need to do this, that, and the other thing, or I need to be ready faster to, get to whatever plans that don't even necessarily have a time, but I just feel that inner rush because I'm trying to please other people, that I've just been like, okay, nope, I'm taking my time, not taking a wasteful shower, or a really long shower or anything just for the sake of it. But so I recently got a haircut the other week, and the way my stylist massaged my scalp just inspired me to start doing that to my scalp every shower, and it's been so fucking wonderful. I've always massaged my scalp a little in the shower, but mainly just to stimulate hair growth. But I've been taking it up 10 notches on a legit scalp massage every time I go in there, and it feels so good. And after my shower, I continue my self-care by moisturizing my entire body, doing my hair routine, just giving my hair all the love that it deserves. And I always give myself a little foot massage while I'm lotioning my body, which might sound weird, but it just feels really good. And as we discussed last week in the product of the week, I love my feet being rubbed. So I have that little massager, but I also give my feet a little bit of love. Yeah, other things, I've been more consistent with flossing and giving my gums all the love they deserve as well, washing my face more regularly than ever, thanks to the pandemic for allowing me to make some of these habits, because before I mean, I really only started washing and moisturizing my face like in the past 3 years maybe. I just like totally missed that message somehow that you're supposed to moisturize your face. So yeah, been stepping that up. For the past couple of weeks, I've been stretching more and more each day, which has been really lovely as well. Since I've been spending more time on my computer and working on this podcast, I just feel like that extra stretch in my back is just something I really need. And I guess some other things that I mentioned before, I stopped smoking cigarettes, and I was smoking a pack a day, but I quit like about 10 years ago, which is crazy. That sounds like such a long time, and I feel very old saying that, but that's okay. I've cut down on drinking a lot too within the past 8 years. And, you know, all of those things just added up. You know, it feels really good to give myself that time because I deserve it. And I've heard the phrase date yourself a lot lately, which I feel like all of these habits are really embodying that kind of attitude. So yeah, I am really grateful that I take the time for myself. I'm really, you know, the attitude of gratitude, I'm really trying to step up that gratitude game and showing myself all that love.
Yes. I show myself all of the love by forcing people to hang out with me.
But like you said, you're a social butterfly. You need that social stimulation. And
I really do.
Other people like me, I really need my alone time.
Well, I feel like also like working in management at work, I'm like kind of on my own level for most of the day, and I have to do a lot more work that is just by myself. So while that's not me doing something that brings me total joy, I get so much time with just me and my thoughts.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I can never get enough of it. And I like being social, but just in small doses, you know? COVID was kind of like quarantining. I'm like, fuck yeah, I've been prepping my whole fucking life for this. I'm Gucci over here.
Yes.
Product of the week. Product of the week. Product of the week. Product of the week.
Speaking of self-care, this leads to the POW.
POW!
Oh, it never gets old. So, the POW is a mask that I use all the time because I make Hannah do face masks with me all the time because anytime my skin is any form of messed up, she has to come and do it, and she's just so judgy of my life, but it's fine. And we did this one. Huge fan, love it. Stella, you've used it with me before. It's the Aztec Secret Indian Healing Clay.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so affordable. One, that's like one of its top 3 perks. Its price point is phenomenal. I really don't think it's more than $12 I've never finished a canister of it. They always end up disappearing halfway through because I give them to someone. You just have to buy apple cider vinegar and mix it with the powder to make your face mask. And it's a very mud clay face mask. It's very thick. I do it right before I take a shower because it's easier to rinse off in a full pouring shower than in a sink. In a sink, it's a little bit of a project. I will give it that.
That's my least favorite part about face masks is just the after.
Yeah.
Yes.
The removal.
It's always worth it, but fuck.
It really makes my skin feel so different. But it does, like, frame your face. Like, you cannot smile. You cannot talk by the end. You cannot do anything after the 20 minutes of it being on your face. You are frozen in time. Some people can think that makes your face feel itchy. I like the tingling feeling. To me, I'm like, these are the toxins exiting my soul.
Yes, perfect.
Yes.
I really liked that one. I remember my face feeling so smooth after.
Exactly. I really love it. I use it all the time. It's my favorite one, and it's unbeatable price for making you feel rad.
What more could you want?
Yeah. I got this one at Target. You can get it probably at any Walgreens, Target, anything. Super convenient. But we'll still post a link.
Yeah. We'll see if Amazon has it, but if not, we'll share the link that is corresponding.
Target.
Yeah, Target. The exotic location.
Get bougie with your face masks.
Okay, so I guess that concludes this week's episode. If you have questions, topics you'd like for us to cover, just want to say hello, feel free to email us at wellnessbudspodcast@gmail.com. If you want to share what you've been doing to show gratitude to yourself or others, or want to share what you've done for yourself personally, you can also call our line 971-292-5565. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for your support and taking the time to listen to our podcast. We look forward to growing with you and seeing where this journey takes us. If you like what we're doing so far, a review would be greatly appreciated. You can subscribe, feel free to share with a friend who may need to hear this episode, or donate so we can keep providing you with quality content. We are posting additional content on Patreon, so if you want to hear our peaks and valleys of the week, every week over there, we would love your support. I can't emphasize how much we appreciate you all. Thanks again, and remember to focus on you and your well-being this week. Until next Monday, bye.
Bye.